Let's talk.
Giles Brown.
It is that time when we are joined by the crew, the experts, the merry band that make up our great friends, of course, Spence, Clarke. And this morning, I'm joined by Cristina and Maria, and we are talking about one of my favourite Roman emperors, of course, Verufactu, who came over the hill. No, it's not this at all. Is it? Good morning, Cristina. Good morning, Maria.
Good morning, Giles. Thank you for having us here again.
Yes, indeed. If you've got a question about Verufactu, or indeed most other things about the system, then you can drop me you can call me, 952 78 4000. You can send me an email if you're feeling bashful, studio@tre.radio. You can even send me a WhatsApp, +3 645 99 67 95. Now, in the immortal words of the Whitesnake song, here I go again. Yes. It was going to happen. It wasn't going to happen. It scared the living daylights out of everybody going, and preparation and so what, Cristina, Maria, where are we? What is the latest, Maria?
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having us.
Sorry, that's very rude of me.
Don't worry.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Here we are again talking about Verufactu. Because, as you said, it generated lots of attention at the end of last year ahead of its postponed implementation, which was at the end postponed also for a year. So, naturally, that also created quite a bit of confusion. In simple terms, Verufactu is a system introduced by the Spanish Tax Office designed to make sure that invoicing records are secure, traceable, and cannot be altered once they have been issued. It forms part of a broader effort to reduce tax fraud and increase transparency, particularly in sectors where cash transactions or manual invoice have traditionally made control more difficult. So, for businesses and for the self-employed individuals in Spain, the main point is that invoicing software will need to comply with new technical requirements set by the tax authorities. The goal is to create a more reliable and transparent invoicing system, where records leave secure digital trace and cannot easily be modified afterwards. At the moment, the key dates businesses should be aware of are the 1st of January 2027 for companies and the 1st of July 2027 for autonomous. From those dates, the new compliant invoicing system are expected to become mandatory.
Right then, so here we go again. So when we talk about Verufactu, are we referring to a specific platform, or is it more a set of rules that the software should follow?
Well, Giles, that's a very important distinction, okay? Because Verufactu is not a platform in itself. It's a regulatory framework. What it does is to establish the technical requirements that invoicing software must meet, okay? I mean, for the people understand, okay? In other words, business will not log into Verufactu as such. Instead, okay, they will use invoicing software that complies with Verufactu standards, okay? This system must guarantee that every invoice generated is recorded in a way that cannot be modified or deleted without leaving a trace. It's very important. Additionally, there is an option, though not always mandatory, okay? To send these records automatically to the tax office in real time or near real time.
So you don't go and get a Verufactu program, and this is showing my age.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the lights you have on your car.
Yes.
Some are compliant and some aren't compliant. But
it's like here in Spain we say it's like the coco.
Like the coco.
It's a monster who hide under your bed, which is watching everything.
I've got 3 of those, but anyway.
Yeah.
So let's say. So I mean, what is the main? I said that so. What is the main objective to introducing the system?
Well, the primary goal is to combat tax fraud, particularly practices such as manipulation or removal of invoices after they have been issued. Historically, okay, some businesses have used software that allow them to maintain parallel accounting records or alter transaction backdated.
Okay.
Verufactu aims to eliminate that possibility entirely by making sure records cannot be altered and can always be tracked. At the same time, is also a part of a wider digitalization strategy because Spain is aligned finally itself with other countries that already have systems of real-time or near real-time reporting, which improves efficiency and oversight.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier about the sort of delays at the implementation that we have of Verifactu. What caused these delays?
Yes, there have been delays, and they are largely due to the complexity of the system. Yeah. On one hand, software developers need time to adapt their products to meet the new technical specifications, and on the other hand, businesses and advisors also need time to understand how these changes affect their day-to-day operations. And additionally, from a regulatory perspective, not all the detailed rules were finalized at the same time. So this has led to a more gradual rollout than initially anticipated, allowing for a smoother transition, and reducing the risk of disruption.
Yes, indeed. Yes, the detail rules weren't finalised. Love it. Hacienda, love you. Right, so does this? But joking aside, I mean, this is very serious for businesses and for autonomous as well. Does this mean that Verifactu is not yet mandatory?
Well, guys, at this stage, we are effective in a transitional period, okay? While the legal framework is already in place, the obligation to fully comply is being introduced gradually, okay? There is currently, sorry.
Yeah.
The nervous.
They're in the voluntary phase.
Yes, exactly. During which business can start using compliance system ahead of the mandatory deadlines. This is something we strongly encourage, as it allows business to adapt gradually rather than facing a sudden change later on. Okay.
Right. So, I mean, this is a thing because you don't want to be on if you're a company on the 1st of January. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, go!
Exactly.
So what are the advantages of adopting Verifactu during this period, this voluntary period?
Okay, there are several advantages. First, it gives businesses time to become familiar with the system without any pressure. And early adoption allows for testing, staff training, and identification or any operational issues before compliance become compulsory. Mm-hmm. It also reduces the risk of errors or last-minute complications. From a practical standpoint, it can also improve internal processes. Many compliance systems offer better record keeping, automatization, and also integration with accounting tools, which can ultimately increase efficiency.
So, here's the thing. From your perspective as a tax advisor, Alistair would kill me if you weren't. Is your firm ready? Are you ready to? Because you obviously, and Rob, this was Rob's. This was his thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was really into this, and I remember his face when they pulled it, and he was like, "Okay, so." You guys are ready to go with this, aren't you? You're absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. We have been preparing for this quite some time. We have been reviewing the regulatory requirements in detail, working closely with software providers, and also ensure that our internal systems are fully aligned with Verifactu standards. More important, is we are actively supporting our clients through the transition, which is very important, helping them to choose the appropriate software, reviewing the current invoicing processes, and also ensuring that everything is compliant well in advance with all the deadlines, okay? Yeah. So finally, by January 2027, all clients will already have practice invoicing through Verifactu, will have submitted invoices to the tax authorities via the system, and will have had time enough to identify, learn from, and resolve any issue before the official implementation date. So
now Autonomous, the brave soldiers
here
in Spain. Let's take a moment's silence for the Autonomous. No, how much of an impact is this going to have for the already stressed Autonomo? Small, but if you're a small bit, I was going to call it a PECI. Now, what do they call it? A PIA now. What do they call it? Small business. but an autonomo, a small business, how big is the impact of this on them?
Well, the impact is quite significant, particularly for those who are still using manual processes or basic tools such as spreadsheets, for example. These businesses will need to transition to compliant invoicing software, which represents both a technological and a procedural change. However, it is important to emphasize that this is not just an administrative burden. In many cases, it leads to a better organization, fewer errors, and also a greater control over financial data.
I'm just thinking of all of the ferreterias and all the Jose's bar, Baristan in Marbella. Have you got software? What? So you can imagine. So what businesses are going to need to change their existing software then?
Well, in many cases, yes, but not all existing because not all existing software meets the new requirements. Particularly, all the systems that were not designed for this control in mind. Business will need to ensure that the software is certified or adapted to comply with Verifacto standard. That's it. Many providers are already updating their products, so in some cases it might be simply a matter of upgrading that rather than replacing the system entirely.
Right. Okay. You mentioned the possibility earlier about sending data to at the end of the tax office. So does Verifacto require real-time reporting?
Well, not necessarily in all cases, but it does introduce that possibility. There are essentially two types of systems: those that simply comply with the requirements for secure record keeping, and those that also send invoicing data directly to the tax office.
Yeah.
The latter option provides an additional layer of transparency and may become more relevant over time. But the key requirement at this stage is the integrity and traceability of the records.
I kind of understand why they want to bring this in, but I understand why they want to bring it in, but if there are errors, it could have an impact. So what are the risks to your business if you fail to adapt to Verifacto? And I'm thinking here, because it's Hacienda, I'm thinking we're going to be talking multas, etc., because, hey, it's Hacienda.
Yeah, of course. Hacienda always win.
Yeah. But seriously, I know we're joking now, but this is a serious subject. So no, really, what are the risks for businesses that fail?
The risks are both financial and operational, okay? Because for compliance perspective, using no compliance software once the system becomes mandatory could result in penalties. The regulation are quite strict in this regard, particularly given that the anti-fraud objectives are behind the system. On the other hand, operationally, failing to adapt in time can lead to disruption, especially if changes need to be implemented urgently. So that's why early preparation is so important.
Yeah, I suppose the idea is so that we don't get sort of money laundering, blanqueo the money. I mean, not that that's in the news at the moment. Luckily, nobody's doing that. Yeah. But it's transparent, and it means that we're moving on from the old ways of the 80s. So practically, what steps should businesses and also should autonomos and small businesses, what should they be doing right now? What do you recommend?
The first step is to review their current invoicing system and assess whether it meets their new requirements or not. Secondly, they should seek professional advice to understand how Verifacto applies to their specific situation, because not all businesses operate in the same way, and tailored guidance is essential. Finally, they should consider adopting a compliance system during the voluntary period, allowing time for a smooth and controlled transition.
To conclude, por fin, as the saying goes. Just quickly, here's the thing I'm just thinking. If you get, this is just a general, if you are a company and you get an invoice from somebody not in Verifacto, maybe something Rob knows, if I pay my painter and he sent me an invoice in paper, will you then get fined for paying? We don't know yet. Do we know yet? Would we be breaking the law?
Could be because the invoices must be verify. I mean, for example, my vet, okay, I have a dog, and my vet started to issue the invoices with Verifactu. And I have the physical invoice too, so they issue the invoice by the system, which put a código QR, okay, and they can print and give it to you. It will be the way that the invoices should be started to.
I'm just thinking all the fontaneros and all the guys who work constructora. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
it's going to be that's why we don't have cameras in the studio. By the way, okay.
They will have to modernize.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
So, my final thing is, I mean, do we think that this is going to be a challenge, or do we think it's going to be an opportunity? What are your thoughts?
Well, Giles, also is that it's clearly both, okay? Because there is a learning curve that it's requiring investment in system and processes, but at the same time, it represents an opportunity to modernize, improve efficiency, and also ensure full compliance in an increasingly digital tax environment. You know, the technology is the future.
Yeah. Have an app. There's an app there, there's a QR code.
Also, for those who approach it proactively, the transaction can be very manageable. And lastly, beneficial in a long term. At Spence, Clarke, as I mentioned it previously, our clients will already be issuing Verifactu well before it becomes mandatory in 2027, meaning that by January next year, they will already be familiar and fully comfortable with the system. So for the business that prepare in advance, the change should be very straightforward and could bring long-term benefits in terms of organization, efficiency, and compliance, which is
kind of what we want. And I suppose the other great thing is that Spence Clarke, you're professional advisors, so your clients aren't going to be stuck there going, we pushed the button and it bounced back, because we understand seriously why the Verifactu is coming in, because we don't want money laundering. We want the processes to be transparent. Yeah. A lot of people have this fear of Hacienda, not Shakira, but everybody else has got this fear of Hacienda.
Normal.
Yeah, exactly. But it will, in the long term, make easier. And like I said before, it's going to be businesses that have traditionally done everything in paper, or as I said before, that's why the autonomos and the small businesses have got 6 months more to prepare. So the fontaneras, the pintor, they can actually
start
preparing. So, you know, the autonomous have already 1 year. Yet, so they have time enough. They can ask every question to an advisor. I mean, we are advisor and we are the best one, you know. But it's important to be informed, be prepared, because it could be difficult if you are not prepared and you don't know exactly how it works.
And if you look at the news, it's all about undocumented workers is a big thing in Spain. The black market, you know, the cash payments are a big thing in Spain. They want to they want to get rid of this, and so this is a part of it. If people want more information or to check out your excellent blog, the website, the telephone numbers, where should they go? Your website.
Our website is spenceclarke.com.
Okay, super. And also there's an excellent, if you want to, there's really well written articles about there and several subjects as well. Always great to see you. I now a little less concerned about Verifactu, but I still think you would have made an excellent Roman emperor. Right, Christina and Maria, I'm sure we'll be speaking about this again in another couple of months, because this is something that is changing.
Yes.
But I think the really important thing is that it's you get prepared for it. Check out the software. There are no shortcuts when it comes to Verifactu.
Exactly.
Christina and Maria, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Giles. It was a pleasure.